Okay, because Richard has taught the Enneagram and the Myers-Briggs for 25 years in Southern California, and where he was a member of the Unity of Tustin, and I'm on the board there, and he's also was on the board of the Enneagram International Association, the Southern California chapter. So he's done a lot of study on the Enneagram, and I think some of you know the Enneagram is a model that I use for my own personal work and transformation. And so anyway, so I'm excited to have Richard here. So Richard, come on up.
Get up here. Can I grab this? So you know what the secret of life is? Low expectations. Thank you, Brian. you set that right away. That's good. Okay. Thank you. The name of my speech. This is weird to see you in the mirror on there myself, but it's been a while since I've spoken. I ask for your understanding and kind of patience with this. I haven't done anything since we moved here, my wife and I, Donna, 4 years ago. So I'm a little rusty. And secondly, I flunked my own talk big time, because if I would have been paying attention to when Brian asked me to speak, and we've been talking for a while, I would have known it's the freaking Super Bowl. And I didn't know that until Randy, my 49er buddy, and I were going, oh, the Super Bowl's in 3 weeks. I speak in 3 weeks. But the 49ers didn't make it, but I felt like I almost willed them not to, so I could be here. So anyway, thank you. So I'm here, and thank you. So 9 ways to pay attention. So I would like to suggest that your attention is the most precious thing you have. And I'll repeat that. I'd like to suggest that your attention is the most precious thing you have. In fact, there's a daily word affirmation that goes, I give God the gift of my attention. Please, can I have your attention? Pay attention. Give me some money, you know, right? It's like, it's a thing, right? I mean, give me your attention. Have attention. It is, and I am saying it is a thing. It's a very, very, very precious thing. If this present moment, this now moment, is all that really counts, then what we are paying attention to right now is a very, very valuable thing. Right? I mean, does that kind of make sense within the metaphysical, spiritual world? So I started thinking about the gift or the value of attention. Came from our Wednesday study group, and Wendy Purcell's book, Ask Yourself This. And I see some of our Wednesday study group folks, so thank you for coming. And she said, as it is often said in metaphysics, energy flows where attention goes. And then she said, and I said, yeah, that's law of attraction. That's the, metaphysical stuff. That's kind of, then she said, pay attention to where you place your attention, because what's got your attention has got you. Let me repeat that. Pay attention to where you place your attention, because what's got your attention has got you. And I went, holy smokes, that really made a lot of sense to me. And so that reminded me of a principle of the Enneagram taught by one of the foremost teachers, Dr. David Daniels. And he said, where your attention goes, your energy goes, which is basically the same thing, just a variation on that. Where your attention goes, your energy goes. Your behavior follows. What you do, I'm paying attention to that curtain and it's not straight. you do something about it, or your attention goes there. So the slide, oh my God, I'm up there too. Of the Enneagram. Thank you. So a quick explanation of the Enneagram. It is a symbol, it is a model. Thank you for using that word, because that's what it is. It is a model. It is a useful way of talking about how our mind works, how behavior works. It's a model. It's like a menu in a restaurant. It's not the meal, it's the menu. You don't eat the menu. Well, you don't eat this as a model. It is just a model. It's a way of bringing concepts together. Enneagram means, Ennea means 9 in Greek. Gram means graph or symbols. And there are 9 numbers around a circle. And the circle signifies unity. The lines mean a lot of things, but I have until kickoff, right, at 3:30. It would take a while to explain all that, but what I want to explain is that it's divided into 9, and they're all equally placed. There's no one above each other. There's no one below. There's not a bigger number. There's not a littler number. And so 9 numbers, all the numbers or types are equal. They're all the same, and they're all placed around there. Okay, that doesn't really need to be, because we kind of use that. Thank you. No, it's right there. Shall I go on, or? They hear me. Thank God. Okay. The Enneagram is a model for many concepts, and one of the things it models is attention. We pay attention attention makes up much of our personality. What I'm paying attention to is what you may not pay attention to. And what we pay attention to gives us really kind of who we are. It is commonly understood that 80 to 95% of our attention is habitual, unconscious. We usually are in what's called a default mode of attention. Default mode is a computer term, which means it is the mode of a computer when you don't change anything. It just runs in the background, right? But it runs practically everything. So a good example is word processing. If you go on a word processor, the default mode is the font size, the type of font, what the paragraph looks like. If you don't change anything, it's going to look like that. So you have to actually literally, we got a problem. That wasn't. How was it? Richard, if you want to take in a sing along or anything? No. It's red, it's green, or whatever it is. So in a word processing document, you have to literally go in there consciously, change the font size, and do all those types of. That's getting out of the default mode. Oh. And that default mode is something you have to be consciously changing, right? So the Enneagram is based upon the Desert Fathers way back when, asking the question, what prevents me from always having a connection with God? What is our distraction? Where is our attention going to if it's not going towards God or Spirit or whatever you would like to call it? The Enneagram as a model is based upon the ways we actually do not connect with God. And that the Enneagram reveals what is my default mode of attention, my unconscious habitual focus of attention. Therefore, it shows where our energy goes, where our action goes, where our behavior is going. So when we're in our, some terms would call this ego mode, and we've learned a lot about that in all these books, the ego mode is not necessarily the spiritual mode. The ego mode is what is running in the background that you're paying attention to. And the Enneagram is about these 9 ways we habitually do that. Are we kind of set? I got 2 more hours, so I should get it back. So I'm going to quickly go through the 9 ways the Enneagram has grouped our habitual attentions. And I am going to do these quickly. So part of the reason with Brian was quick is not the best for the Enneagram a lot of times because it's very complex theory and model. I'll just tell you right now, you can go crazy with it. So I kind of made a way of doing it quickly, but the Enneagram gods, please don't come down that I'm doing it so quickly. So first, I know you've got some questions because I've done this enough to know. First, yes, we are individuals. However, the Enneagram provides a framework to better understand what we may not be conscious of, and therefore wake up our default attention so we can change it. It's a framework, it's a model. No, we are not only one type. You may see your attention in many types. What I am looking for, what you should be looking for, is what is my focus of attention throughout your life. Is this focus of attention, that is your main one, usually you can see it all throughout your life. And let's see, the thread, it suggests and it's not during a lot of stress or it's not during a lot of heavy changes. It's kind of like when your life is going on default mode, what's running back there? What if none of these fit? I guess you're dead. No. Some people have a hard time on self-reflection, spend a little extra time to reveal what comes up. I think it's worth the look. So here we go. We're going to look at what habitual attention is running in the background of our lives. And so we're going to use that model that used to be there. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're just going to go around the Enneagram. So I am going to each time kind of caricature and offend each one of you for exaggeration points and kind of that. So here's what attention has got the one, and the one is called the perfectionist. I'm sure none of you know about this one. And the perfectionist would, Art, could you move your chair? You're kind of sideways. Can you, really, could you, no, I'm really, I mean, it would help me. Yeah, right there and everything. And Brian, what if we moved the chairs now and kind of made a circle, this kind of odd? Yeah, going in there. This is kind of distracting to going there. And you're way over there. I mean, shouldn't you be? Thank you. Chuck, if you could sit up a little better to pay attention, that really helps. On everybody else, you okay? Don't lean on him. You don't have to. There you go. Oh, musicians. Forget. So what is my attention is directed at being perfect, being right, being ethical, being conscientious, doing the right thing, which means my attention really lots of times goes to what's wrong, what's not right. All these types have a good part of it and kind of a bad part of it. So the good part of it, I want my lawyer or my accountant to be a 1. I want them to know where all these figures are going. But sometimes it can get a little tough if you've had a teacher who was the one who did that. So in all of these skits, I am going to be doing Joe's, yay Joe, financial statement as an example of how each type looked at that financial statement. So here I am, my attention is directed at being right, being perfect. Joe, your financial report was good. But one slide on the expenses, I thought was a little light on details. You kind of went right through that real quick. I'd prefer to take each category and flush it out. Next time, print one page on each category so we can really drill down to see where each penny went. Because that just came up like that, and I just, don't we want to have a more thorough? Thank you. Can we do that next time to kind of make, a little more specific report on there? Thank you. No, not just for me, for everybody. It's for the good of everyone. Thank you. Do you know anybody like that? Okay, now to change modes here. We're going to have to change. Okay, number 2. I think I've got that up there. The helper. What does the helper pay attention to? How's your knee, Brian? Are you doing okay? Is it doing better? I know you were walking every morning with Pierre, and do you still do that? Can you do that? Oh, I feel so much better. You can do that. Is there anything we can do now to help the whole congregation? Poor guy. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. There you go. Musicians don't mind. There, something like that? Okay, thank you. Now, okay. Whew. So anything that we didn't talk enough about it. We really, when you go through something like that, a trauma, we really need to support you. So, okay, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for that hope. We all need hope. Thank you. My attention is directed at relationships, to others, to connections, what others need, what the feelings and emotion of others. Also, the attention goes to, of course, to people who are kind of cool, cold, or do not want to make a connection. So, Joe, here we go, Joe. The church financial report was good. But I feel really you could have talked more about how many people our programs and our tithing helped. How we help the community in so many ways. That was just a short slide on all the money that went to all these wonderful programs and organizations that we could really talk about. Tink, the report, the Christmas program. We could have talked about my can of soup probably saved a life, right? I mean, we need to really talk about what we do. 10% of our money goes to help people. And it was a good report, Joe, but we could have talked about what it all helped them. So let's highlight the good work we do and all the programs we do. Sheila, thank you. Got one person. Anybody else?
She's a 2.
Big nod. Good for you. Okay, now for something completely different. The achiever, the producer. My attention is directed at success. Getting things done, staying active, busy, to be outstanding and getting recognition for it. Attention, of course, then goes to failure and not achieving things. And so, by the way, the US culture is kind of a 3 achievement culture. We reward these types of folks very well with that, for the good or for the bad. Joe, standing up, your financial report was good. It was good. But I think we need a little bit more on fundraising. How are we going to grow? How are we going to grow this church? What are we going to do? Was there anything on fundraising in that report and what we're doing? None. Not really. Thank you, Joe. So I have a plan, Joe. Okay. What is this called now? Unity 5 cities? Unity 10 cities. Right? We can do that. Sheila, you're on board. I like it. We can do Unity 10 cities. And let's not just do, let's face it, folks, this is really Unity 5 towns. I mean, I'm from Orange County. Those are cities. These are towns. So 10 cities, Santa Maria to San Luis Obispo. Mega church, Joe, mega church. We got to think about it. We got to think about how we're going to do that. And one thing that it's inspired me when we first got here, I sat right there and I looked up through this window. Oh, can't look through that window. And I saw them building that big, huge house up there. Did other people see that? Did other people? That could have been us. With a little thinking bigger, a little stronger, and a few $1 million, that could have been ours. So who's in to grow this to Unity 10 cities? How many people are? Yeah, go. Yeah, so make out the checks for that to Ricardo Largo Banco de Mexico Retirement Fund. Okay, number 4, the individualist. Have to take a deep breath after that. My attention is at being unique. What is deeply touching, what is meaningful. Attention, of course, then goes to the ordinary. And Joni, I have to apologize to dressing like Brian. There's really nothing too outstanding about the sweater stuff, so I appreciate that. But on there, so Joe, your financial report was good, but when you presented it to the board, what kind of paper did you put it on? Oh my God. That's it? If you would have printed it out, Joe, go with me, Joe, go with me. If you would have printed it out, what been on white paper probably, right? That's a start, Joe. Now, you know, it's not that much more expensive to go on colored paper, to go on something that kind of looks like a financial report. Something that looks like a stock or a bond or something. And what about a cover, Joe? Did you do a cover?
Not this year.
No. Okay. Joe, I've got an idea. Got an idea for a cover. It could be an 8x10 glossy of Reverend Brian doing his famous, "Can I hear an amen?" Can you do that? Yeah, hey, can I get an amen? Right there. 8x10. Can I get an amen? That would be the signature. That would at least make us different. So can I have an amen? And it would be, can I have $100? Can I have $1,000? Something to make it going. This would make it much more unique. And for you Zoom people, oh, I look this way, don't I? That is so weird. For you Zoom people, please come in to see Reverend Brian's famous, "Can I have an amen? You got to be here in person." It's just it just grabs you just right to you. So to do it on Zoom, you just don't get that effect. You don't get that feeling. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Let me take a little break here. It's exhausting being all these type. So what's the default setting of the five, of the wizard, of the sage? My attention is on the intellectual domain. Analysis, learning something new, learning more and more about less and less, getting detailed, digging deep, needing the privacy to kind of explore this on my own. Very attentive to like intrusions and demands upon my time when I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons. You know, don't get in the way of me. When focused on something really important. And of course, the attention will go to inadequacy or incompetence. There's a whole attention towards being competent, to knowing your thing, to studying. By the way, the culture, because of the computer, has sort of turned into kind of a five culture of knowing more and more about less and less, and knowing more and keeping that whole idea of, I need my privacy to, you know, write all that code and everything. And if you go to a Silicon Valley coffee shop, everybody's on their computers alone, you know, and they're just doing that. So, Joe, your financial statement was good, but was that done on Windows or iOS? Yep, I knew it. Was that your home computer, Joe? Yeah. I keep looking there. Chris, I know you've been trying to get the mainframe for a long time, but we need a bigger computer. You know that, we all know that. Maybe when it's Unity 10 cities, we could get. Use QuickBooks, Joe? No, you don't use QuickBooks. Well, that's good, because I think we ought to get my new version of really, really slow, complex books. Then we will have a complete and accurate report. You think we can do that next time? Who else would like to see that kind of detail? Moving towards that. Not a whole lot. No, I didn't think so. Next is 6 is the loyalist. My attention is directed at being secure. What can go wrong? What are the potential pitfalls, difficulties? What's the safe thing to do? Being loyal to my family, my friends, my church, kind of in exchange for security. And thank God a lot of our police, firefighters, CIA agents are the ones who really can, this loyalty, they're doing the job that in the back of their mind, they're doing it for the security to make us safe. And one thing about 6 is they have a great BS detector. As anybody who's ever had an encounter with local gendarmes, they know what's going on. And that loyalty, that faithfulness is a really huge bonus. So, Joe, your financial, might as well just keep, no, you can sit. Joe was good, but how many months of surplus did we have with that report?
6.
We had 6 months. Joe, I'd feel a lot better if we had like 2 to 5 years. You never know, Joe. You never know what can happen, Joe. And I've heard some rumors that some people want to spend all the money on unity of this 10 cities or something like that. Or something. I think it's a little risky, don't you, Joe? Yeah, a little risky. Going like that. And we don't want to do anything risky, right? Not too much. Thank you. Yeah. No, that's good. That's prudent. That's a little risky on there. But we want to keep what we have. And what we have is amazing. And so let's keep that going. But really, I think let's lean toward the 10 years of back on, and then we'll be fine, right? We'll feel secure. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Now for something completely different. The enthusiast, the optimist. My attention is directed at fun, excitement, being around Richard. What's new? What's on the horizon? Let's keep our options open. Very sensitive to constraints and limits. It's really the people who jail was made for. You get a bunch of 7s and they're constrained and they're in jail and it's a punishment. You give a 5 and they'll go, oh, 2 years? Good. Do I have any books I can read? And so this constraints. And Joe, your financial report was good. But how many months of surplus did you have? 6. When I see 6 months of surplus, Joe, you know what I see?
6 months of surplus?
Maybe you do, Joe, but I see a party. I see extra money to spend to celebrate who we are. It's not losing money, it's using money. So we have that money just sitting there. You're saying you're only getting what, like 3%, 4%, something like that? Joe, it's not worth the fun. Let's take a Sunday afternoon. Are you following me? Is everybody following me? Let's take a taco truck, dancing and music, and then let's really go for it and have a good time. Because you know why? Because if we spend it all, tenfold will come back again. Right?
Yes.
Guaranteed. Right. Musicians would say that because they're going to supply the music. So let's be an optimist about this. We don't need that. Let's go for it. The 8, the leader, the challenger. I think we've all had a boss like this. We've all had a person who, my attention is directed at who has the power? Where's the power coming from? What can I fix? I'm not afraid to take action, especially if it's needed for control. There's a certain amount of control freaked for it. I'm just going to take it. It's mine. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm very sensitive to weakness or vulnerability. If someone else is weak or so, you can strike. And so, Joe, your financial report was good. But, and you actually have to answer these, but who is actually spending the money, Joe? Who's actually writing the checks? Who makes the decisions on each line items, and how does that work? That wasn't really in that report. Like who's in the background of all this? Who sets the amount on, let's say, musicians? How much, and we have a bunch of them here. So how much do we spend on musicians? I know what you're up to. I know what you're up to. Right there. Oh, right there. No. Yay, we got it back. We got it back. I propose we don't need live music. We don't need these guys up here. And for God's sakes, we don't need ukuleles. What are ukuleles doing in a church? So here's my proposal. We cut out the musicians. There must be a spiritual FM radio station that we can just turn on the radio, play a few ding, 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 ding things, and we're good. Let's make some changes. Let's shake it up. Let's do something a little different. What do you say? Boo! I know Brian wants to. And last but not least, 9, the peacemaker. So in order to get into the mood of this, I would like to do a really short chant. And this chant is a variation of the Om chant, so it's anybody can learn it. Even Unity 10 cities can maybe learn on there. It's called Aum, and it's a cleansing of your chakras. Aum. So please put your feet straight. No, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. No crossing of the leg. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. That was good. So let's take a deep breath. Diaphragmic breathing, cleansing breathing. One more time. That was so good. One more time. Do you feel that? Do you feel that right after that? My attention is that feeling peaceful. Who or what is rocking my boat? Sensitive to others and please them to make things peaceful? Pay attention to both sides of an argument, because it's hard to make up your own mind, because in the fear of being in conflict with somebody else. If I make a decision, I may go against somebody else, and I don't want to do that. So here's a good scenario of 2 9s trying to go out to dinner. Hello, dear. What would you like to go out to dinner? Sure. Where do you want to go? I don't know, honey. Where do you want to go? I don't know. We could do Chinese. Sure, we could do Chinese. I hate Chinese, but we could do Chinese. Oh, we could do what then? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And so what they are very sensitive to is discomfort and conflict. So Joe, your financial report was very good, but you ought to get more credit. We owe you a round of applause. Joe, you're rock solid. We don't have to worry about finances. You make us comfortable. Thank you for making us not even think about it, running in the background. Thank you, Joe. And thank you for being a good sport. So, in conclusion, observe the day-to-day of what you habitually pay attention to. Does it have you? What are you giving the gift, the wonderful value of your attention to? Is it keeping you from being present? Is it keeping you from being in the now? Look for patterns, not just fleeting attractors. How can I be more present in the now? How can I pay attention to God or spirit or whatever you want to call it? So how can I then change my default attention to pay more attention to that? So pay attention to habitual default actions, thoughts, and feelings that are getting in the way of knowing God and what it offers right now. Once I identify my default mode of attention and you realize you're in it, is this what you really want to pay attention to? Is it getting me closer to my spiritual source? Is it even what I want? Especially when you're watching that TV show and you go, why am I watching this TV show? Is it really what you want? Know why am I going to stay in that? Have fun with it. Let life reveal what you are paying attention to. After all, it's only the most precious thing we have. And thank you for giving me the precious gift of your attention.